Thorne, what is it?
I don't know.
Are you in pain?
I can't explain it.
Why don't you sit down? Come on.
It's the strangest feelings, look. I'm like all confused. Turmoil.
Were you feeling faint?
No.
Has this happened before?
Yeah, 2 or 3 times.
Recently?
In the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, maybe it has something to do with your brother being shot.
But why? Why what happened to him affect me in any way?
Your doctor would be very upset if he knew you were still here.
If he knew I was here at all.
Does it feel good to be back at work?
I never knew I had so many friends.
Well, they have a way of surfacing when they know that you need help.
So many friends and one enemy.
Do you think about that a lot?
No. Too much of a fatalist.
Never a fool, I hope. You should be careful. The man who shot you is still out there somewhere.
So is my bodyguard.
Your bodyguard?
Compliments of my brother.
You know, I'm really relieved to hear that.
I'm a little thrown by it. I mean, me with a bodyguard.
Rich, how can you say that? How can you possibly even think that after what you've been through?
Well, I'm going to give it a try.
Good. Is he attractive?
He's all right, yes.
Well, if you want, you could tell him that you know of another body that needs a little guarding.
Oh, I see.
And, well, on second thought, maybe I should wait till after the baby's born.
Margot, this guy who got you pregnant.
Rich, please, I would really prefer not to talk about that. For many reasons.
For many reasons.
Well, you know, it gets me upset and it may induce labor.
Well, should I boil water now?
You know, you would have made just a fabulous OB. Can you imagine the practice you would have had?
I suspect I would have been rather good at it.
Well, no doubt in my mind.
Tell me, is it true a lot of women fall in love with their OBs?
Oh, does this sound right up your alley?
Especially now.
Especially now.
Well, I've been kind of out of circulation.
Sorry, I'm otherwise occupied.
Yes, I see.
Ridge, this has never been a problem for you before.
Well, I'm sort of narrowing down the field.
Well, all the better.
No, it's a little more complicated than that.
All right, now you're starting to lose me.
I have that same feeling sometimes myself.
Ridge, I thought Brooke Logan was living with you.
She was. I assume still is.
So, what's so complicated about that? Oh, I think I know.
Do you?
Is the picture complicated by another woman?
No comment.
Lucky ladies.
No, Margot. After a while, it takes its toll. Believe me, it does.
I'm sure that you understand why I want to avoid hurting someone who has been as wonderful to me as Thorne has been.
Perfectly. Not only do I understand, but the fact that you don't want to hurt Thorne tells me a great deal about you as a person. But that's really not the question. The reason that you've come to see me, is it, Caroline?
Well, what is then?
It goes a step further. I think it's really, why would you want to divorce a man like Thorne to be with Ridge?
And whether it's wrong for me to do that.
Wrong is a word we don't use in this office.
Why not?
Wrong implies that there's only one way to think about something, that all other ways are unacceptable.
Well, if there is no wrong, then why do I have all these doubts? And why can't I make this decision for myself?
Caroline, how would you feel if Thorne were to be hurt by your asking for a divorce?
Not if. He would be hurt. There's no question about that.
But how would you feel?
I would feel like I had let him down terribly. And I would feel like I betrayed him.
How did you know where this gun was hidden, Mrs. Forrester?
I put it there
When?
after I shot Ridge.
Stephanie, what are you saying?
Eric, please don't. I know what I'm saying.
I even tried calling you down at Griffey's, but Stacy said you had called in and asked for the afternoon off.
I did. Nicholas, you would not believe what I'm working on.
Look, Donna, I'd much rather hear about what happened last night between you and Spencer.
Okay. Last night was very interesting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Donna, either you got the nude picture of Spencer or you didn't.
I didn't.
You know, this is never going to end. It's just going to go on and on. All right, tell me, what happened this time?
Well, actually, this time it was my fault.
Your fault?
Yeah, I got sidetracked.
You got sidetracked. All right, tell me how you got sidetracked.
I was making my moves, buttering them up, as usual, when out of nowhere, Spencer asked me to write an article for him.
Oh, come on, he asked you to write an article?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing, Donna. It's just a little bit surprising. You're not going to do it, are you?
Of course I'm gonna do it. Nicholas, it might just be for a small newspaper, but this could be a tremendous opportunity for
Look,
me.
Donna, the whole point of this thing was to get back at Spencer, to get a picture of him, to publish it, make him taste a little bit of his own medicine, and then to drop it.
I fully intend to do that after my article is published.
After it's published.
Do you realize that the other interns would kill for an opportunity like this? Nicholas, this could be the start of a career for me, a real career.
Let me ask you, don't you think it's just a little interesting that Spencer gave this opportunity to you?
No. I'm a woman, and he likes me. Nicholas, I really want my article published, so please don't discourage me.
When do you start writing?
Start? What do you think I've been doing all day? Here. I want you to read it.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you.
Maybe it's all the stress you've been under.
I don't know. I can't explain it to you, Brooke.
You should probably see a doctor.
Yeah, if it continues, I will.
Okay.
Listen, I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm just glad that I was here. Does Caroline know?
No. I haven't wanted to worry her with it. She's had enough on her mind with all that's happened to Ridge.
Has she?
Well, we all have.
I just wish I could be as confident about this as you are. Or pretend to be.
Brooke, I love her. I trust her. What do I have if I don't have trust?
And you honestly believe that there are no latent feelings between them?
Of course there are feelings. They were nearly married. But she's my wife now. And we love each other.
That's nice to see. That you have such love and devotion and belief in somebody.
But isn't that the way you feel about Ridge?
I want to. I want to so much. I don't know, maybe he'll call me and we'll get together and everything will be wonderful again.
Hold a good thought.
But he's going to have to get in touch with me first.
You know, if he's got a lick of sense, he'll be on the phone in an hour.
You are a very special guy, Thorne Forrester.
I'm not going to give up until you're my sister-in-law.
You take care of yourself, okay?
You too.
Has your mother said anything about my not staying at the house?
No, but she's had a lot of other things on her mind, Brooke.
Do you know what you're saying, Mrs. Forrester? Do you realize the significance that you were the one who shot your son?
Completely.
And you understand that anything you say, including your last statement, can be used against you in a court of law?
I understand what my rights are, yes, Lieutenant. I also realize that I don't have to say anything, and I do believe that I'm entitled to counsel with my attorney.
And you're voluntarily giving up these rights?
Stephanie, I have to insist that you speak to our lawyer before you say another word.
Well, what do you think?
I'm rather shocked.
Was that good shocked or bad shocked?
You're a very talented writer, Donna.
You like it?
Yeah, it's very impressive.
You know, I had a feeling that was good.
You should be very proud.
I am.
See, there's only one problem.
What problem?
Spencer is never going to publish this.
Why not? You said yourself it was very well written.
Donna, this article blatantly condemns the business in which Spencer makes so much money in. I mean, you mentioned temptation by name. That's slanderous to his own magazine.
Nicholas, he didn't get where he's at by only printing what he wants to read.
Maybe you have a point.
A very valid point.
This is still risky. You're attacking his business from within his own publications.
All the more reason for him to print it, to cover his own tracks. This article can only help his reputation, as well as my own.
I hope you're right.
I know I'm right.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna get this typed up and take it over to Spencer.
Yeah, well, thanks for the visit. You know, maybe when you write your novel, you'll be able to spend just a little bit more time here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess just like someone else that I know, I tend to get a little too involved in my business.
Which doesn't leave us much time to get involved with each other, does it?
Mr. Preston, are you suggesting something?
Me? Suggest something?
Stephanie, not another word.
Eric, I'm tired of playing the game. Lieutenant, I'm responsible for everything that has happened to my son, so please, whatever it is that you want to ask.
I can't ask anything until you answer my last question, Mrs. Forrester.
I voluntarily will give up my rights.
Stephanie, don't.
Eric, what is it that you want to ask?
I need to know some details. Just like always, I want to know details.
I mistaken my son for a prowler, and I tragically shot him. What more is there?
Well, there's a great deal more that needs to be explained.
Such as?
Such as why and when you went outside.
Oh, that was so stupid of me. Well, it was after Ridge had gone out to see why the dogs were barking, and I was up here in my bedroom.
Please, go on.
I went over to the window, and I looked outside, and I saw someone in the shadows. And what I did then was I went over to the bedside table, and I took the gun out, and I went downstairs and outside.
Why did you take the gun?
I was frightened. I didn't know who was there.
And what happened when you got outside?
I saw someone moving in the shadows, and I panicked, and I fired the gun.
And you accidentally shot your son, thinking that he was a prowler.
That's the whole tragic story.
Do you expect me to believe that?
It's the truth. I wish it wasn't, but it's the truth.
Okay, now you said like I'd let him down, like I betrayed him. Is that the way you see yourself, or how you think others would see you?
Well, knowing everything I've told you about Thorne and the kind of man he is, don't you think I should feel that way?
Should is also a dirty word.
Why? And what does that mean?
Well, usually when somebody says, I should do this or I should do that. They're trying to conform their feelings to what they think others think is right.
But what if something really is right?
Then it's right because that's the way you feel.
Well, I can honestly tell you, when I think about how I would feel about divorcing Thorne, I'm not thinking about how other people are going to react. I mean, this is my problem. My personal turmoil. And it's my business. And for once, I am not going to worry about how other people think or feel about what I do. I can't. I have to live with myself.
Caroline, why do you think you're having all this difficulty making a decision about wanting to divorce your husband?
Why?
Yes, why?
Well, I guess if I knew that, I wouldn't be here.
But you are here, aren't you?
Is it possible that the reason I'm having so much difficulty making this decision is because deep down, I don't want to get a divorce from Thorne?
It's possible.
Or do you think that I'm really just afraid of what people are going to think of me?
That's possible, too.
Don't you ever give any answers?
When I have all the facts, I may offer some suggestions. Why didn't you marry Ridge when you had the chance?
Well, I already told you that. He was in a hotel room with some woman a few days before we were supposed to be married.
And how did that make you feel?
Betrayed. I'm sure the same way that Thorne would feel if I left him for Ridge. Is that what you've been trying to get me to say?
No, Caroline. I only care to hear what you want to say.
You know, I'm not sure that you understand my situation.
Then why don't you tell me?
I care very deeply for Thorne. He is loving and he is considerate and faithful. And he's also a loyal friend and husband who loves me very, very much. But you know, he also tells me all the time, again and again, how important I am to him and to his life. This is why I don't know what he'll do if I ask him for a divorce. And even though I have deep feelings for Thorne, I feel entirely different when I'm with Ridge. He makes me feel alive. I ache for him to take me in his arms and make love to me. And I know if that ever should really happen, I could never be satisfied with my husband again. Now do you understand?
You expect me to believe that after Ridge went outside to check on the dogs, you came up to this bedroom, you looked out the window, you saw a shadow, and you never once thought it might be Ridge? That strains credibility, Mrs. Forrester.
The truth sometimes does that. After I heard the sounds...
Wait, what sounds?
I thought that Ridge was already in the house.
No, I asked you about the sounds.
I'm going to tell you. I was here in the bedroom. I heard someone come up the stairs and go down the hall and close one of the bedroom doors. Naturally, I thought that was Ridge.
You didn't think that might have been a burglar?
No, because he made too much noise. The only thought that I had in my head was that it was Ridge. I realized that was thoughtless, that was careless. I admit that.
Mr. Forrester, what do you have to say about all this?
I think we should talk to our lawyers, and I think this questioning should stop.
Do you believe her?
If Stephanie made this mistake, I think it's something that this family's going to have to learn to live with. But for now, I think we should talk to our lawyer.
Has she told you this story before?
I will not be a witness against my wife, Lieutenant.
Mrs. Forrester, why didn't you tell me this right from the start?
Lieutenant, I asked you to stop questioning my wife.
Eric, that's all right. I'll answer that one. I was frightened, Lieutenant.
About what?
About any number of things.
About what might happen to you?
You mean the police and something legal? No, I wasn't concerned about that at all. My real concerns were about my son. My son Ridge's feelings, what he would think when he found out that I was the one that shot him.
You weren't concerned about being prosecuted.
Oh, no. No, I wasn't, because I knew it was an accident. It was a silly, stupid, thoughtless accident. And whatever the course of the law, I knew that would have to be taken into consideration.
And you thought that Ridge would be harder on you than the court system?
Harder? Perhaps less forgiving.
What about Thorne?
What about him?
Where was he at the time? What does he know about this?
I've already answered questions for you in previous statements, and I'm going to take my husband's advice now. And I'm going to assert my rights, as you so generously pointed out before.
Well, if that's your decision, there's nothing I can do about that.
Lieutenant, with your permission, I'd like to spend a few minutes with my wife before...
You can have a few minutes with her after I'm gone, Mr. Forrester. No, I'm not taking her away. And she's not going anywhere where I can't find her. Isn't that right, Mrs. Forrester?
No.
I didn't think so. I'll be back. In the meantime, I want to go think about a couple of things. You know what they are. And if you want some free advice, I think you should think about them as well.